Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of The Ugly Truth about building here in Ghana. So today I'll be walking you guys through phases 4 and more. I'll be listing the material and all the costs. If I do leave something out, please feel free in the comment section below to let me know, and I'll be sure to add it in the third episode. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Enjoy, like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out on any of our videos. So what you're looking at now, guys, is the woodwork for the roofing. I totally forgot to add this in the first episode, so I just wanted to quickly add it in just so you guys can see what it looks like prior to the install of the roofing sheets. I really can't remember how long this took, but the cost of the wood used was 6,300 Ghana cedis, which I added in the first episode. And the workmanship to complete it was 5,000 Ghana cedis, which I did not add in the first episode. I just wanted to add it in and say that once your woodwork, your coping, and your roofing sheets have been installed, you're not done there. You still have to go back and seal the edges. There will be little cracks around the edges of the house, around the roof. We use a seal which they called FET. The cost of the FET was 650 Ghana cedis. I believe it just took one day to complete. The workmanship might have been around 500 Ghana cedis. Okay, so now let's get into phase 4. So phase 4 starts off with plastering. So before you can go ahead and start plastering your walls, you have to create the pipe and the electrical lines that the pipes will run through. So as you can see here, we have some pipelines that they have cut out to make room for the plumbing pipes. So in addition to the regular plumbing and electrical pipes, we have also installed AC pipes and hot water pipes to allow for the home to have air conditioning and hot water, which a lot of homes in Ghana I find don't have, but this particular house will have those extra amenities. So before we can start the plastering process, we had to go back and make some small adjustments. So the living room initially had 3 really big windows, which we thought were totally unnecessary. So we did have them close off the 2 windows that were side by side and make it just one normal size window. In addition, if you remember, I did mention the first series that I thought the windows were really big and low. So we did go ahead and add 1 block to each window around the home to make it a little bit smaller, just to close it up a bit. But looking at it now, it didn't really make much of a difference. We should have closed up the perimeter of the entire window, but whatever, what's been done is done. So we have now for the third time have changed the direction in which the kitchen window will face. It will now face the side of the house opposed to the back of the house. 1 window, that was 2 windows, they converted to 1. This is a bigger window, they just added an extra layer. So all the windows, they've gone up 1 block. And this is the kitchen. So the window was over there and they've moved it to over here now. I think the window is a little bit high. So the last thing we had to do before we started plastering was we had to install our burglar-proof bars. So after we picked our design, it took about a couple weeks for it to be made, painted, and installation took about a week and a half, I would say 2 weeks for it to be completely installed. The total cost of the burglar-proof bars cost us 11,000 Ghana cedis. So they started plastering the house nearly a month ago, and they're still not even finished plastering. The contractor, we actually fired the contractor this morning, semi-fired, because we're supposed to meet here so we can discuss certain things that were happening, and he's not here, and when he hasn't been coming often, and we called him and we're like, okay, we've been asking you to meet at the site, you're not at the site, none of your guys are at the site, and he's like, oh, they're putting a lot of pressure on me on my other the other job he has, they're putting a lot of pressure on him to complete the job or whatever. And me and my mom were just we're livid. We just went off on him. We're like, so you stopped our job to go do someone else's job. So because you don't respect us, for what reason? Do you think we don't want our job to be done just as much as anyone else wants their job done? Yeah, right? Yeah, so we kind of went off on him because like the plastering was supposed to be done from a month ago, and it's still not done, and we've already paid him like 80%. Okay, guys. So at this point, we had completely fired our contractor because he basically abandoned the job after only completing the plastering of the inside of the house. So we went ahead and hired some day-by-day masons and laborers to complete the outside plastering. Also hired a close family friend just to kind of oversee the job and just to make sure that things were being done accordingly. So we came to find out after some time that he was the one actually plotting and scheming with the laborers, with the masons to overcharge us for work. And to make matters worse, we were informed that he was stealing material from our site when we were not there. So of course we had to make a few adjustments. So these workers that you see here working on the scaffold, plastering our home, this was the very first job we had given them. Like, as soon as they took the contract, they wasted no time to start scheming. They had already came up with a plan to overcharge us for the plastering, overcharge us for the scaffold rental fee. So to rent a scaffold in Ghana is anywhere between 30 and 120 cities. They were charging us 260 cities a day for the scaffold. This just goes to show you guys that you can't trust your masons, you can't trust your laborers, you can't even trust like your family friend who's overseeing the job for you. Like, the moment you turn your back, the moment you let your guard down, they will try to take advantage of you. So of course, with all the madness, it ended up taking about 2 months to completely plaster the entire house. The total cost was 15,400 Ghana cedis. We bought 150 bags of cement initially because that's what we were told would be enough to completely plaster the entire home. But of course, we still had to go back and buy an additional 80 bags of cement. So what you're looking at now is our borehole. So we had this borehole made in the early stages of our development. We initially had this borehole made to help cut some costs because of the amount of water needed in the first couple phases of development. Of course, this borehole will supply the entire house with water, of course, with the use of a pump. You will find here in Ghana that this is a very common method that people use to supply their homes with water. In total, this took about a little over a month to complete. The total workmanship was 3,500. There was a rental fee of 300 Ghana cedis. We bought a total of 1,300 bricks and 20 bags of cement. So this is the manhole. So this is where, when you flush the toilet, where the waste will go, and I think the waste from the kitchen will go. This is basically the manhole for waste. I don't got my phone in there. Okay, so let me just explain something to you guys really quickly. Yes, as I said, this is our manhole. Of course, when you're building, you need a manhole for somewhere for your waste to pass through. So after spending 12,868, I will put the breakdown on the screen as to where this 12,000 came from. But this manhole, guys, only lasted us about 2 months before it gave out because it wasn't constructed properly. Literally, the manhole collapsed and a huge crack ran right through the manhole. So now, fast forward, can you believe, guys, we called this mason that built this manhole at least about 1,000 times, and 1,000 times he answered and said he was coming, and 1,000 times he never showed up. It got to the point where we just had to just take a loss and just find somebody else to create a new one, which we are in the process of doing that right now. The one we are actually doing right now is less expensive and a much smaller manhole. But this is my frustration with building in Ghana is people say they can do a service and really and truly, they really don't know how to do it. And then when shit hits the fan, they pretend they're going to come back and fix it, but then they just disappear.
no go small concrete to if you no atwa basro odudu no esi 2 block go ha basro na ye de sa basket bi near dey na the basket no fiber basket dey near man and basket no na the check on be so no connect pipe na be 2 basket no we fiber no and there be wow be wo dey o mo iwe no wo dey wu agu concrete no 3 corners no
So the wall now is going to actually be straight. Before, the wall was not straight. And the wall wasn't straight because of the manhole, because of the manhole that we had made, but the manhole is now no longer functioning. So we are creating a new one. So the blocks that we ordered with 100, it's all over here. Where did you put the blocks?
This is 50. So then get another set of 50.
Oh, okay, so 50. So what if it doesn't go down? What if it keeps filling up? Then what?
No. Like we didn't complete the whole with concrete. We just put the concrete at the edge.
Around it.
So the inside is just the middle here.
What's the age man? This is the time I so call it like there's normal mistakes. Because maybe don't any concrete things in spaces here, because it tells you say shoddy work. Maybe I say now or why who can say so this is the other part. Concrete and cement any do have pushing. That should be said we are there a pro here as a chisel. And our child said, Diana, yes, only bit and now they be high, or they be higher, nip and bar. So I didn't again, said the distance between.
There's just like a lot of issues that we're having right now, so we have called actually somebody else to come and correct some of the mistakes. So the door frames behind me, you can see that they are doing the door frames. Although I had already bought door frames right here that they've actually used for a bed. So those are garbage. So we got new ones put in. Okay guys, so what you're looking at are the new door frames. We purchased 11 in total. The total amount for the 11 was $1,050. I think each was about 100 Ghana cedis. So the cost to have them install them was 680 Ghana cedis. So as you guys can see, they've done a lot of break-in around the edges of the wall, which is quite frustrating because at this point, as you guys can see, the walls are already plastered. Of course, again, working backwards. I'm really not sure why he broke above every single door frame. He broke a huge area above each door frame. So I'm really not sure why he did that, because our first contractor, when he installed the door frames, he did not break above it. But for some reason, this new guy said that we needed to install iron rods above every single door frame. I don't know, guys. Please in the comment section below, for those who have built or those that are building, please let me know, was it necessary to break all that space above the door frame and then have to buy iron rods, bricks, more cement to replaster the walls again? So at this point, my mother and I were just really frustrated because this is what we didn't want. We didn't want to have to bring in a new contractor because everybody comes with their own ideas and everybody seems to feel like their way is better. Time to go door shopping, guys. It's about time we finally put some doors on this house. Door. This is supposed to be a slide-in door, but I've decided that I'm not going to make it slide-in, so they have to close off the door a little bit, make it smaller. They have to close the space and make it smaller to fit the single door, because it was supposed to be a sliding door. So right here. So I'm excited getting my doors installed today. So how does this always happen to us, guys? So the person that claimed he can install these doors went with us when we purchased the doors, and never once did he ask us which way we wanted the door to swing. So why is it that we brought the door, as they were installing it, I went to check to see which way it swung, and the door swung towards the kitchen, so it swung to the left side, when it was supposed to swing to the right side, to the wall where that gentleman is standing right now. So, of course, they had to take the door out, carry the door back to the store, explain the situation. Thank God they had the door with the direction we wanted. Switch it around, come back and install it. So I'm so grateful that I was there at the time of installation. This is why you need to be there, because they didn't ask us which way we wanted the door to swing. They were just going to install it and then keep it moving. So thank God I was there. I was able to catch that mistake, so it was corrected right away. So apparently, in order to make the space smaller to install the door, they had to actually break the wall, make the space wider, and then add the full-size bricks, if that makes any sense. So the back door, the door size was one single door. The door was 1,600. And the front door was door and a half, and that door was 2,200 Ghana cedis. The workmanship to install the doors was 150 Ghana cedis each, and it literally took 1 day to install both doors. It's very easy for things to I didn't want to say the word steal, but okay, my mom said steal, so I was gonna be nice and say like disappear, but she wants to say steal. I left here yesterday, there was 43, so it should be 42. Coming up on The Ugly Truth, find out what measures we put in place to prevent our workers from stealing from us, and our old contractor shows up at our site. You don't want to miss what happens, and we start the interior.